Now it's time to bring back in Jeff Small, as well as our next guest, a good friend of yours truly, Michael Eastham, founder of Fellowship Financial Group, a retirement income store located right near Orlando, Florida. Michael is also the author of the book, Common Sense Income Strategies. So Michael, first of all, great to have you back.
Good to be here.
Tell us, what is it that your clients most want to know? What do they most commonly ask you today when it comes to real estate and the real estate markets?
Yeah, well, a lot of times we'll have conversations about real estate, and folks are always enamored by it. They always have been. And so one of the things that they ask if they have excess money is, should I buy a rental property, or should I, get involved in a rental property, or make my house an Airbnb? That's becoming even more of a consideration these days. And there are lots of things to consider. Sometimes I just ask them, hey, do you like fixing toilets in the middle of the night? Are you okay being a property manager? Those kinds of things.
Yeah. If you have to hire a manager, it eats into the profits. Absolutely. Jeff?
So with the markets at all-time highs, Michael, the stock markets, the valuations are, the all-time peaks of peaks. What we're seeing is a migration into hard assets like real estate because interest rates are so cheap. And so do you think it makes sense for retirees to have income-producing properties to complement their income in this environment, just so they can also diversify into hard assets because the market valuations are pretty steep?
Yeah, that's a great question. And the answer is maybe. It really depends on the person. These are the reason I answered your question the way I did earlier, a minute ago, Dave, is because people have to do a little soul searching because, like I said, they're enamored by real estate. The real question is, are you comfortable in managing a rental property? Because the reality is, if it's chosen in the right location, under the right circumstances, with the right financing, then you can actually get a really nice return on investment for the money that you invest. So it could be very good in this current environment and provide some good cash flow. But there's no perfect investment out there, so you have to take the good with the bad. And you have to deal with those potential skeletons in the closet if you're actually going to take on those types of investments in your portfolio.
Those are all really good points, Mike. And with interest rates being this low, the break-even proposition on a second or third property got a lot better because the cost of money is so cheap.
That's right. And we always look at, the return on your cash investment. That's what you want to make sure, because we're talking about cash flow and our clients need income. So making sure that the money that you put in or the money that you get out is worth the money that you put in. Sure.
When we come back from the great break, Michael, I want to ask you about real estate investment trusts, because for those people who don't want to fix a toilet, a lot of real estate investment trusts are still down in value significantly. And some find it to be risky, some find it to be a good opportunity right now. So I want to get your thoughts on that. Meanwhile, you're going to want to stay with us to hear what Michael Eastham thinks about real estate right after the break, right here on Income Generation. I'm David Scranton, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to the Income Generation. I'm David Scranton. I'm so glad to be here today with my two good friends, Jeff Small and Mike Eastham. Mike is founder of Fellowship Financial Group, a retirement income store located just outside of Orlando. So, Michael, the individual investment properties, you're right, it's a personal question whether somebody wants to complicate their lives with a rental property, and there's risks. I have a new client who's actually a regular viewer of the Income Generation who's down here in Southern Florida, but has, I can't remember, 4 or 5 rental properties up there where you are in Orlando. And with fewer people traveling to the theme parks, those properties have gone unrented. So there are risks there. But most real estate investment trusts really have corporate tenants. They're stock of a company that owns real estate and generates rental income, whether it's through retail, whether it's through office, long-term care facilities, and so on. What are your thoughts right now on real estate investment trusts as an investment opportunity for our Income Generation members who are looking for income?
Sure. For certain clients, it can be a great opportunity because they do tend to pay higher income. It's just their nature. You see, the thing you need to understand about real estate investment trusts is that they get some benefit. They get some benefit of not having to pay corporate income taxes. The way that they get that benefit is because they promise to pay out at least 90% of their earnings to you and I in the form of a dividend. So by nature, they don't retain much of their earnings. They spill it all out to us. So it's a great opportunity for them. They don't pay corporate income taxes. For us, we get a little bit of a higher dividend. And in some cases, it's a lot higher dividend. But you're right. There are different risks in there because you are purchasing the stock of a company that owns real estate. So you have to understand that aspect of it. But there are good real estate investment trusts and there are poor real estate investment trusts. You've got to make sure you understand the entire spectrum and make some good decisions about which ones that you're going to add to your portfolio, if any at all. Because
one of the things you got to be careful of, Michael, right, is publicly traded versus non-publicly traded real estate investment trusts. Sometimes people don't understand that there's two different flavors and there's a big difference between the two, right?
Absolutely. And for the most part, we just kind of stick with the publicly traded ones because they're much more transparent. They are relatively liquid if you need your money. But the downside is that with that liquidity flexibility comes the fact that you're probably going to pay over par for the shares. But at the same time, for the flexibility and the income, I think that for most of our clients in the income generation, that they could do very well using some component of real estate investment trust.
As an advisor, they're not going to pay you the huge commission they pay to brokers, but you're much better off with the liquid real estate investment trusts that don't pay that commission but are much more transparent, I believe, much better for the investor. You concur, Jeff?
I do, and Mike, that alleviates the biggest headache of being a property owner. You don't have to answer the call in the middle of the night to get the maintenance man to fix the toilet or the light switch. And so, real estate investment trusts do pay pretty high dividends though right now. And so there's some good ones out there, but obviously there's the ones that we want to avoid in the commercial sector because some of the commercial sector and the real estate side is getting shellacked due to what's happening in corporate America and the downsizing and people working from home type styles. And so those are things that we ought to be made aware of. So all great points, Michael.
Yeah, no question. Including, you look at hospitality industry. There are some REITs that are out there that got pummeled because of the fact that all they have was, certain things in the hospitality area. So you want to make sure that you're pretty careful about that. And of course, shopping malls are another one you want to be very careful about in this environment.
Well, I don't know. I mean, can't Vicky wait till the pandemic's over so she can go back shopping? I mean, isn't it true that there will always be people that go to malls that, just it might be subdued now? Or do you think that this trend that we're seeing right now of everyone buying things through Amazon that accelerated with the pandemic, do you think that's just going to continue to hurt shopping malls?
Well, I think it will. We will see a downsizing of some of these malls, but these mall owners, a lot of them, especially the very large ones, like Simon Properties, for example, they're a huge REIT. They're looking at repurposing a lot of their malls and using alternative businesses coming in there, and that's actually going to work out pretty well. I think there's a lot of great opportunity if you think strategically, and some of these REITs that have gotten hurt are actually doing just that.
Yeah, they've got to get creative. You're right. The good news is that most REITs are diversified, if not nationally, they're at least diversified regionally, so that you don't have the issue that my client has, where if you happen to be lopsided and have 4 or 5 rental properties right outside the theme parks in your backyard, you have diversification in other areas. So, as usual, Michael, thanks so much for being here with us, and thanks for your words of wisdom. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
And you stay with us. We have more coming up here in just a moment, right here on the Income Generation. We'll be right back.